What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here. Happy 4th of July. I'm going to try and get this video to come out on 4th of July, but if it doesn't, you know how YouTube is. And the point of this video is, it doesn't matter what you carry, just carry. Whether it's a budget option, a high-end model, you just need to carry. There are so many great options that everyone can afford, all the way from sub $300 up to, sub $800. That is a perfect range, in my opinion, to spend on a handgun, especially for concealed carry. No need to spend $2,000, $1,500, or anything like that. There are lots of great options that, maybe need a couple minor changes like grips or sights or something like that, but are good to go and are reliable and absolute awesome handguns, right? So that's what we're going to go over today. What I've noticed is I've been getting less support the bigger I get because people see stuff like this. Guys, I pay for this. I work 10 to 12 hours a day plumbing for this. I do YouTube for this. I do other side hustles for this. I bust my butt. My grind has not changed. The amount of work I put into this stuff is even more nowadays, but for some reason I get less support because of it. So hit the like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. Let's get into it. 50 awesome handguns you cannot go wrong with. And even if one's a little more expensive than the other, work some overtime. Get a side job. Don't get that Starbucks coffee. Don't eat out lunch that day. And you can get a lot of great options. So let's start it off. We're going to be pretty quick. Found this used. This is a Smith & Wesson 642 Airweight, hammerless edition. Absolutely love this thing. It is an awesome, awesome revolver. Nothing bad to say about it. I pocket carried it. Obviously, you can see a little bit of rust on it. Not a big deal. Awesome, awesome handgun. Will never, lead you wrong, right? Next up, my second favorite handgun of all time, the Springfield Armory Hellcat. Right now, 11 rounds of capacity. The best summertime carry, especially in stainless. No rust issues. 100% reliable, great handguns, maybe a little snappier than your average pistol, but ready to go right out of the box. Absolutely love the Hellcat. Next up is a discontinued Beretta PX4 Storm, and no, this is not, sorry, my kitty must have been up here. There is no rotating barrel in the subcompact, but this thing is as flat as can be to shoot, has a decocker, single action, double action, 13+1 capacity, and this really cool base plate function that allows you, you can see you can't get that third finger on there, pull that down, and you get it, and there's no pinching. Absolutely awesome, but you can find them around. Next up is a model I don't recommend getting, but if you do have this, it's a great option. Yes, it's only 6+1 of 45 GAP in the setup, but it's a powerhouse of a handgun, reliable handgun. Do I carry this all the time? No. Sometimes I do just for fun. It's a smooth shooting handgun, a great shooting handgun. Get some double tap or buffalo bore ammo, and you're gonna absolutely love that thing. One of the more unreliable releases from Glock, the Glock 28. Normally, Glock is pretty solid upon release, but the 28 has had a lot of issues for people, had issues for me. I actually just got a different guide rod for it, and it runs flawlessly. So 10+1 of 380. This is a subcompact that is flatter shooting than almost any gun you see on this table. It's like shooting a 22 long rifle. Fast, accurate follow-up shots. This is one of the greatest defensive pistols simply because of how fast you can let them shots go, as well as no recoil. The only Kimber I'll ever add on a list like this, the Kimber Mako R7. I wanted to hate it. People hate it. They say it's terrible. But honestly, when you see stuff like Honest Outlaw's wife choosing this as her main, it says something. If it's an unreliable handgun, he's not going to let her carry that, and she wouldn't want to carry that. Mine's been the same way. Mine's been flawless, a smooth shooter. Yeah, it feels a little bit cheaper, but it runs. No complaints. And notice there's no compacts or full sizes. These are all carry-oriented handguns that tend to be smaller than a Glock 19. So Glock 29 is smaller in every dimension except for width, shorter barrel and slide length, shorter grip. This is my bare defense, but this is also a powerhouse of a carry option. If you carry a 10mm, all you need is one to land. That's it. It is an awesome, awesome handgun. It's extremely versatile, but like I said, it is my woods carry. I prefer something a little faster shooting. Next up is discontinued as well, the FNS 9C. Flawless subcompact. It's a little bit longer barrel to help with carry so it doesn't keel over or flip over while carrying. 12+1 capacity, super ergonomic in the hand, decent trigger, not the lightest, but these things are tanks. Just like my FM503, it'll never give you a problem. They tend to be pretty dang reliable. Canik Meta MC9, obviously this is my second go-around, but since I got the guide rod replacement, not a single issue. Runs flawlessly, has an awesome trigger. More of a summertime carry if I were to carry it because that, as you can see, you can't really fit a finger in that trigger guard very well with a glove on it, and it gets cold where I live. Therefore, the Canik Meta MC9 is just a little bit harder for me to carry in the winter, but nonetheless, a great shooting handgun. Another discontinued, the CZ P10M. I picked mine up for around $300. You've seen them as low as $240. Reliable, 7+1, snag-free, meant for pocket carry. That's why it has the heavier trigger. That's why there's no slide stop. There's an internal slide stop, so it still locks back, but you can't manipulate it with your thumb, which is basically not how the handgun was even intended to work on any of these, right? Absolutely love the CZ P10M. I doubt you'll find one for a cheap enough price or even find one, but I love mine. Nothing wrong with CZ quality. Taurus GX4, I have 2 of them. And since my initial issues with my GX4, mine have been flawless. Great shooters for their side. This is an awesome budget option. A lot of people have been trusting Taurus G series because it's a good series of pistols. It's reliable and affordable. That's why it's very popular. I recommend getting something other than a Taurus for your main carry, but for the time being, can't go wrong with the GX4 or the G3C. I've been in this industry for a while. I know a lot about Taurus and a lot of the stuff going on with them, and they're doing a great job, so keep it up. Next up, avoid this optic at all costs. It was sent to me for review, so I gave that review on it. It's junk. Never buy the crap optics. These are trash, the worst, and that's exactly what I gave in that review, so do not buy it. But the GeForce GF9 Rapture is an awesome handgun. 12+1, takes a Glock 26 upper. The only thing it doesn't take from Glock 26 is that mag and mag catch, obviously. Super ergonomic in the hand, has a different grip angle than Glock. Mine have been flawless, and I actually have 2 of them, so a pretty decent sample size, right? Next up, Sig Sauer P365 XL. Not my favorite handgun in the world, but for a lot of people, it's the way to go. I can't complain if you carry a Sig or carry anything and actually use it to train. So the Sig P365 XL, Armory Craft grip module, the best texturing on any grip module. Code SPN, I think, is for 5% off from Armory Craft. Absolutely love it. Ergonomic, great shooting trigger. You just got to be careful of the springs on the Sigs, that's all. Next up, XD45, subcompact, discontinued, mod 2, the grip zone, the grip zone, the grip zone. Just kidding, guys. Everyone always gets on me about the grip zone. It is what it is. Ignore that. It's a great shooting handgun. Next up, we'll do another grip zone. This is the same thing, mod 2, a little bit smaller in the slide and barrel, 9mm, awesome shooting handgun. The XDs are just so flat. Awesome beginner handguns because you learn to carry concealed with a round in the chamber. At least that's how I did, because of the grip safety and the trigger safety. It gives you a little bit of extra comfort while carrying and having it pointed at your manhood as a man. So that's how I learned, but I actually learned with the Mod 1. This is one of my first handguns I ever got, the XD9 subcompact. A little beat up, but this was there when I needed to, and this handgun taught me to carry with a round in the chamber with no external safeties or anything. Absolutely love the Mod 2 and the Mod 1. They're flawless, reliable as can be, and just awesome, awesome handguns. They just shoot. That's all they do. Next up, I got a lot of crap for posting videos about this. Guys, I'm not involved in wars. I'm not involved in anything like that. I simply am just a gun tuber, and simply this is an awesome handgun. IWI Masada 9 Slim. I have no skin in the game, so take that out. Awesome shooting handgun, super ergonomic, awesome trigger, takes larger mags. Great sights right from the factory. It's honestly a complete handgun with great capacity. That's the IWI Masada Slim. Glock 26 Gen 5 MOS. This is my favorite carry gun other than the Gen 3. 100% reliable. It says like 8,500 rounds through it. Not a single problem. It's been a great, great handgun. Reliable as can be. I have nothing bad about the Glock 26s. They are the best. This is my number 1. Next up, the subcompact. This is basically the equivalent of a Glock 26 from Smith & Wesson. I'm not sure they still make these. Maybe they do. The 2.0 subcompact, 12+1 capacity, even with the flush mag, which would sit to about there. Awesome shooter, thick, heavy slide to help with some of that recoil. Absolutely love it. And mine did come with the manual safety, and it was a bit cheaper because of that option. And I believe you can send it away and get it pinned. Therefore, you don't have to deal with it. Next up, Glock 43X and the Glock 48. The best grip angles on the market. The most ergonomic feeling grip, in my opinion. Absolutely love this thing. This is just a little build I did, 100% reliable, all Glock internals, and man, is she sharp. Howison 507 or 407K on it. Love this thing. Absolutely love the 43X. Smith & Wesson M&P 40 Performance Center. This is the 1.0, but I don't care. 7+1 of 40 in this setup with mag guts, awesome sights. The flattest shooting 40 in the world. Go look at my video on it. Those ports really do help, and it gives you that power. It can be pocket carried, like you see here. Absolutely love my M&P 40 Performance Center shield. Next up, HK P2000 SK. This is also in 40. Because it's in 40, I got it for $500. The 9mm one is like $900. This was $1,000 before the sale. And it came with 6 mags because of rebate, hammer fired Double action, single action with a decocker. Not the most ergonomic in the world, but definitely one of the flattest shooting 40s in the world. When the elections come around and another pandemic or whatever the heck happens in this world, 40's still on the shelves because no one has it. Everyone is 9mm, 9mm, 9mm. Well, I'll have some 40 to shoot, and I'll have a bunch of 40 handguns to shoot. And speaking of 40, Glock 27, the ultimate versatile handgun. You can take this in the woods, in most places. Hard cast, you have massive mags. You can convert it to 357 SIG, convert it to 9mm, same size as a Glock 26. This right here is 11 plus 1 of 40 in this small setup. Beast, a tank, and I actually know someone who had to personally use her Glock 27 in self-defense, and that's when it counted most, and this thing ran. So absolutely love the Glock 27. Next up, this is the Gen 3 Glock 26, one of my favorites. Obviously, it's not optics ready, so I had to get an aftermarket barrel or slide for it. Aftermarket Alpha Shooting Sports barrel. This is just a fun shooter for the range. Obviously, a massive optic on there, but it's clear as can be, clean, awesome shooting handgun. I get a lot of crap for the optic. It is what it is, guys. Not a big deal. CZ P10S. You guys better jump on the deal. They're about $350 everywhere you go. $375. There is not a better shooting handgun for the price other than the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus. This is a subcompact, a little bit bigger than a Glock 26. 12 plus 1 capacity. Look at all that room for a glove finger. Awesome flat face trigger that is smooth as can be. They did everything right on this handgun. Ready to go right out of the box, unless you're an optics snob. And I think they do make the optics ready version. FN Reflex, I know a lot of people had issues with theirs. Mine's been solid as can be. Mine has been flawless, except for the finish. The finish is sort of trash, but it is what it is. That doesn't really affect function. Awesome handgun, 11 plus 1. I like the little extended base plate. Doesn't add capacity, but it allows you to get 2.5 fingers on that handgun. Smooth shooter, accurate. I really like the trigger and the texturing on this thing. M&P 40C, definitely discontinued. This is the 1.0. This is their equivalent to a Glock 27, just a little bit thicker in the slide, a little bit longer in the slide and barrel. 10 plus 1 of 40. Powerhouse round, powerhouse setup. Handles recoil like an absolute champ. Does have the hinge trigger still. You can change that to an Apex, but you can convert this to 357 SIG and still use your 40 mags. You can convert it to 9mm. Awesome, awesome handgun. I'm lucky enough to find this gem. I got it $300 used. It was a law enforcement backup. Absolutely love it. Now let's get into some pocket pistols. Diamondback DB380, the Gen 4. If you're going to get a Diamondback, get the Gen 4. They are reliable. They run. They're there when you need them to. These aren't firearms to be shot thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds. You know, train with it at the range. You don't have to blow through, case after case, but it'll be there for you when you need it, and you can take it anywhere. The Beretta Pico, although mine has been absolutely terrible, you can find them online for a decent price, and it's a Beretta. It runs, but you can only get literally 2.5 fingers on that grip, which is crazy. It's pretty smooth shooting. Not my number one recommendation, but a lot of people swear by them. Taurus Spectrum, made in Miami, Florida, so it's at the better Taurus plants. I believe that all moved over there, hopefully, but awesome. It went under the radar. Mine's reliable as can be. One of my flattest shooting pocket pistols. And yes, the trigger looks like crap during dry fire, but when you're actually shooting it, you can hit. Check out my live shooting review with the Taurus Spectrum. I love that thing. Ruger SR9C, discontinued, but these are the best Rugers they made. Obviously, there's other like the P series from Ruger, but the SR9 40 and C and full size were great handguns. Came with a 17-round mag with a grip sleeve, awesome trigger, rail, equivalent to a Glock 26, and much better than the Ruger Security Series, which they put out now. Stoker STR9 Micro Compact. Absolutely love everything about this handgun. Mine has had some issues. I'm getting it worked out. I'm going to be sending it away this week back to Stoker. I know buddies with thousands of rounds with them. Not a single issue. This is a flat shooter. When people pick it up and shoot it, they are very surprised by how well this handgun runs. Mine has just had a couple issues and kinks. We'll get it worked out. Next up, shout out to Daniel Hegg, but the Glock 43. Can't go wrong with it. My wife loves the 43. I love the 43. Nothing wrong with it. Yes, it lacks a little capacity, but you can fit it in the pocket. You can take it as a backup gun, a dog walking gun, a hiking gun, a gym gun, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of options still for the Glock 43 if you have one. Not saying go out and buy one, but they're just awesome. I love the 43. STR9 Subcompact. What's interesting is that Micro Compact from Stoker. You can put those mags in here and vice versa. Also the full size. Awesome flat face trigger. This is their budget equivalent to the Glock 26, and they did a lot right. No issues with mine. We're sitting over 1,000 rounds. Love it. Ergonomic, 10 plus 1 capacity. One of those sleeper handguns you don't hear about. The Smith & Wesson M&P 9 Shield Plus. My third favorite carry gun in the world, flat face trigger, smooth shooting. If you get it with a safety, you can sometimes find it for a little bit cheaper. Just nothing bad to say about the handgun. Awesome texturing, just a smooth shooting with capacity, a little bit bigger than your average Micro 9, so it's a little bit better shooting. One of the best concealed carry handguns on the market, hands down. Next up, the M&P 9 Shield. If you find one of these, I found this used. I got it out the door with taxes and fees for $224. If you find a deal like that, pick it up. It's nice to have a backup if your main ever goes down or it's ever confiscated because you had to defend yourself. Whatever the case may be, it's nice to have some budget options that you know are some of the most reliable handguns in the world. Someone actually commented on one of my videos saying shields are some of the worst handguns ever made. And I just shook my head and said, man, this internet's getting out of control. Next up, Ruger LCP. You can't go wrong with the original LCP, even though the LCP Max is better with better capacity. If you have this, can't go wrong with it. Small, tiny, thinner, lighter than the LCP Max. Awesome shooter, no issues with it. And if you train with pocket pistols, they're really not that bad. They're actually really fun and smooth to shoot. M&P Bodyguard has the best finish out of any pocket pistol. Decent ergonomics for being a pocket pistol, even though you get 2 fingers on it. Long, heavy double action trigger pull, which is your safety. But what's nice about this one, if you did want a manual safety for pocket carry, which I get for a lot of people, this is a great way to go because it does have one. On top of that, you can switch out the sights, and on top of that, awesome texturing. 6+1 of 380. You know, if you can take it anywhere, that's the trade-off. Smaller, but you can take it anywhere. Ruger LC a 9S. Love the LC 9S. Upgraded it with the trigger. That's an AG short stroke trigger. Absolutely love it. This is one of my first handguns and definitely my first small concealed carry oriented handgun. Flawless. Never a single issue with it. I trust it. Is it my favorite? Of course not, but I'll always keep it because it was one of my first. Never gave me a problem. And that's my point. Get something like that and then save up and buy, you know, a more expensive Glock or what your main end goal is. But at least get something to have for the time being. Mossberg MC2SC, second time around. EPS carry, second time around. So far, no issues from either of them. Awesome setup. Love them together. Perfectly paired. Sits real low. Sights can co-witness partially. Love this handgun. Ergonomic with capacity. One of the most slept on 9mm out there. Next up, Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro. If I could do it all over again, I would have waited for the Hellcat Pro comp because that is a better setup, but you can't go wrong with the Hellcats. They're just the best, the most reliable, and very well made. Love the Hellcats. Next up, CSX. You don't hear people talk about this handgun, but go rent one for yourself. Don't listen to him, or him. Go rent one. Shoot it yourself. Tell me how unreal this handgun is. Everyone who goes out and buy ones because of my video comes back and said, man, these people don't know what they're missing out on. And the Smith & Wesson rep actually told me that YouTube videos from content creators ruined this handgun. This is an awesome flat shooting handgun. I can mag dump this whole 12+1 setup in 2.5 seconds. It's up on the channel. And every shot on target, maybe a 4-inch grouping in 2.5 seconds. Beast of a handgun. Ruger Max 9. See, my wife likes the Max 9. It's comfortable for her, fits her hands. I'm not 100% sold on it. I like it, but I'm not 100% sold on it being my carry gun. But a lot of people are Ruger fans. So this is your Micro 9 from Ruger. Pretty ergonomic, awesome tritium fiber optic front sight. You know, love it. I have a couple, you know, quality issues when it comes to Ruger, but no issues. So what can I really say, right? Ruger LCP Max, the king of pocket carry. 10+1 of 380 or 12+1 of 380, a much better trigger than every other pocket pistol. On top of that, you have a tritium front sight, the blacked out rear. Absolutely love it. And if you see me shaking, when I went to UFC 302, I actually contracted Legionnaire's disease while I was out there from the water being contaminated in Newark, New Jersey. So it is what it is. Trying to get better on antibiotics now. It might take a while though. FN 503, my pocket carry for work. I pocket carried this plumbing for 3 years. Never a single issue. Got beat up. Shows its character. Wears it well. 100% reliable. Discontinued, but you can find them for $400 now. And if you want a small pocket pistol that is flat shooting, this is the flattest shooting single stack 9 out there. That slide really helps with the recoil, as this is a little bit heavier than your average single stack. But man, it's small, compact. Throw a hoe grip on it and it changes the handgun. I don't like it without the hoe grip. You throw a hoe grip on there from the Security 9 series and man, does it run. Glock 30, obviously a little bit smaller than the Glock 19 or Glock 23. That's why it's on the list, because look at it with a flush mag. Obviously in 45 ACP, love it. A lot of people don't like 45, but with some of the ammo nowadays, it's absolutely still an amazing round. Once again, it comes back to always having something on you. Love my SF in Glock, Glock 30. Smooth shooting 45. So 45 is your thing? There it is. 6 Hour P365, the original. Once again, Armory Craft grip module. Code SPN for 5% off. Little smooth shooting thing. My wife loves it. I like how it shoots. I just don't like the P365 series in general. I feel like they're mass produced and they are garbage. It just is what it is, and I have proof. 2 out of my 4 have had major catastrophic failures where the firearm could not continue regardless of what you do to it. And out of 50-something Glocks, not a single issue. Next up, the Taurus G3C. This is the People's Champ. This is a budget handgun that everyone loves. It's reliable. Some people hate on Taurus, but this one's made in the Bainbridge, Georgia manufacturing plant, and they are reliable. Mine have no issues. The only issues I've had with my G3Cs are the sights drifting a little bit. But you can replace them with Glock sights, put a little Loctite on them, and you are good to go. Diamondback DB9 Gen 4. We will be releasing a pocket holster for this handgun right here. Get the Gen 4s. 9mm plus P, 6+1. You get 2.5 fingers on it. Actually, the most ergonomic pocket pistol I own. Stainless steel slide. Takes Glock sights. You're wondering why that rear sight is missing. That's because we've been working on holster models. So part of our build out requires that sight to be off for the time being. Next up, last but not least, number 50, Glock 42 Chamberlain 380. My wife loves it. My mom loves it. Smooth shooting pocket pistol. You can take it anywhere. It's just Glock's entry to the pocket pistol game. Do not change out the base plates on the 42s though, like I have here. It becomes unreliable. The Glock 42s are very specific. You need to run all OEM base plates. You wouldn't think swapping just this little base plate out would change it, but it does. It doesn't lock back. It hasn't caused any malfunctions, but it doesn't lock back, and I don't like that, as that screams to me something is wrong and potentially could lead to failures due to weak springs, right? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. My point by making something like this is there's so many great options for literally everyone out there. They're all good regardless of what I like, what you like. Doesn't mean if I don't like something, you can't like something, or that it's not good. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of options out there that are small, reliable, and that you can carry and have aftermarket support. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want a good holster, check out Blacksmith Tactical, code SPN for 10% off. Has a lot of holster options for all these. Thanks for watching, guys.